and welcome once again to Community Viewpoint. Can you see us through the cacti? I'm John Pollock, your host. Sorry, Maria's not here. She's down talking to the folks from Hope Treatment Center. So she's doing some other work today, but she'll be here for sure next week. Once again, we have behind the cacti is M.L. Robinson, and before we get to him, a couple of announcements that we've been mentioning to you. It's time to register for college at Great Basin College locally. That's what these pamphlets are for that we received in the mail. And another thing, I just changed mine yesterday and today. Don't forget to change your filters at home. We're halfway through or 3/4 of the way through the cooling system, and mine were filthy. So don't wait this long, all right? So don't forget the filters that need to be changed.
You'll pay in the end if you don't.
Oh, yeah. Plus, it increases the flow if they're clean also. So once again, we have M.L. Robinson from the UNR Cooperative Extension.
That is correct.
And last time you were here, you had tarantulas and scorpions.
We have something that doesn't sting as bad, but it's just as pokey.
Right. So this is beautiful, and this is what you work with. You work with date palms, you work with cacti.
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
2 weeks ago, I was in Colorado at an amphibian and reptile conference giving a talk, and we were out looking for rattlesnakes.
Okay, did you find any out there?
No, we were all so disappointed.
Oh, okay.
Large group of us, and everybody had their snake hooks and grabbers and didn't find a one.
Okay, so you come out here on a regular basis to the Cooperative Extension, which is on Calvada and Dandelion, and they have that fantastic demonstration garden over there that keeps getting better and better through the years. But you'll be talking about some other things with the master gardeners. But this is one of the things that, this is your hobby also? Well, this is what you do, and plus it looks like a hobby.
Well, yes. Working for Extension, you're kind of hired 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so I guess you could call it a hobby. I do a lot of this on my own, but for classes. If you take the Master Gardener class, which is coming up in a few weeks in September, there's still time to register if they will call over at the Extension office at 727-5532.
Yeah, Debbie said she had a couple of slots left, and I think she had some 2-for-1 or husband and wife groups,
which was we encourage exciting. That.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I teach in that round of classes is cactus and succulents.
Okay.
And basically, kind of fun with cactus. A lot of people just think of them as pokey things out in your yard that you want to avoid, but a lot of these are grafted cactus. We go into the Home Depots and other chain stores, and we see these cactus. They look a little better than this because I chopped the top off in this one, but they're mounted onto or grafted on this tropical cactus, and this one has started growing on its own because I cut the top off to graft. And I was just in a chain store yesterday, and all these had turned brown and were flopping over because they can't take the heat. They're a tropical cactus, and the colored cactus have no chlorophyll, so they have to be grafted onto something green to photosynthesize. And so I was at a nursery in Salt Lake a few years ago, and they had a lot of cactus, and they had these tall cactus, much taller than these, about 4 or 5 feet, with little red tops. I thought, well, that's kind of cool. I hadn't thought about doing that. And these are kind of look like green matches or pokey lipstick or or something. And so this is actually, these cactus, I got the original cuttings in California 35 years ago, planted them at my mother's. And when she passed away, I went back and I took some cuttings, and I've just been playing with them, and this is one of the first ones. These are about, maybe a year or a year and a half old, and so the graft is fully filled out. And then you can do other things. Here's a rainbow cactus grafted onto a San Pedro cactus, and it's kind of freaky. And of course, you know, a lot of people say, well, they'll look at it and they'll say, oh, well, can you graft another cactus on top of the rainbow? And I guess I could cut the top of the rainbow off and maybe put one of these and have 3 stacked.
Yeah, That's not natural, yeah.
Yeah, no, none of these are natural. But, and then it had a baby come on, and so I just put a little red one on there. Anything sprouts. And then the one there, I call that my holiday or Christmas cactus because it looks like it has all different colored lights. And all it is a multi-stemmed cactus that I was looking at one day. And I thought, you know, I bet that'd be fun if I stuck all different colors on top of it. And so I'm growing it out for the holidays. And,
that'd be great,
yeah. So they look like little fluorescent lights. But, and then I collect bonsai pots, mostly at garage sales because they're cheap there. And a lot of people like doing bonsais, but bonsais take a lot of water, and they have to be watered in our desert quite often during the day in the summertime. And so these are just little cactus gardens and succulent gardens that you see in front of us that I've put together in a bonsai dish. We have living stones here, and those are just little African succulents that grow, look like rocks.
You want to get it from the other camera? There you go. Oh, that's a beautiful shot there. Here's the one you were just talking about.
Yeah, and they actually grow at the level of rocks in nature and kind of blend in. And then in front of it, we have the little, just a little miniature cactus growing. Yeah, you don't want to poke it.
Yeah.
It'll poke back. That I picked up at a nursery in New Mexico, and they shipped it out to me. And I just put in a little bonsai dish. And then my little torch garden is the next one. And those are just 6 little cactus that I've grafted here. And I guess we can...
He came back to the front.
Okay, and so there are just 6 of them in a nice little row. and a lot of times if you plant like baby agaves or Hawathia in the next one, this looks like an agave garden here. You just let them grow. They grow slower in those containers. And when they get too big, you take them out and put something else in and enjoy it. And so, but it's really fun, and cactus can be fun, and they're very easy to graft. I have one here. This has already been grafted. And commercially, they would cut this down so that this wasn't flat, but I didn't do that. One of the best things for grafting, whether it's for cactus or any other thing, is a razor knife. Okay. Just a box cutter. They're very sharp. You don't have to sharpen them. When they get dull, you break them off. Right? You don't have to worry about sterilization. You break them off. Once you're through, you can throw them out because they're really cheap. And all you do, you just have to be somewhat quick and keep your fingers out of the way. But you want to make a straight cut across.
Well, that sucker is juicy, too.
Yeah, and it's juicy and kind of sticky.
All right.
Well, the bottom is sticky too. You have to be careful, but it feels sticky in that kind of sticky, not pokey.
Now, you could drink that from the inside. You could eat that.
Yes, and that's a San Pedro, and we won't go into eating the San Pedro. If you look close, but it is legal. I looked it up.
Okay.
Okay, but we're not recommending that. But if you can come in, I don't know if you can come in close on this, but I just sliced off, as you can see on the knife, just a little tiny piece, and then I exposed. And when you do that, if you look closely, there's a little white center in there, and that's where the vascular tissues are. And if you look at this, I don't know if you can get a close-up, there's another one right in the center here. And
you do that, and I'm going to take off and do the close-up for that.
Now you do have to be careful, and usually we recommend that you take some tongs and hold this stuff, although cactus people are notorious for getting stuck because they don't wear the gloves, Okay. But you see the little center there. Okay. And right in the center is a little, and it's kind of hard to see, but right there's a little white dot area, and there's one on here in the center that's a little lighter. And what you do is you just put those two together, and the closer they match, it would be easier if the little top was bigger, but that's okay. And then all you do is rubber band it. Just like that. And that's it. And you can put a second one on to hold it in place. And we'll be going over the roads back to the house, so I'll put a second one on. And if it slips out of the way, if you're doing it fast enough, You just move it back into the center, and that's it. And you leave it for about 5 to 7 days. If you have a little greenhouse, and that's where I put mine, that's good because you want high humidity. If you don't have a greenhouse, you can make one by putting a little baggie over it for this 5 to 8 days that you leave that on. And in that amount of time, you should be able to tell that it has taken or not. And it doesn't take long. These two right here, this one and this one, I just grafted a week ago. And I couldn't use the rubber bands because they were slanted. And so I just kind of stuck them on and let them stick on their own, because as you saw, there's a little bit of goo that comes out of there. And but you don't want to use pins. If you use like needles or pins, anything metal, it will discolor and start rotting. So and see how these have been. I cut this one down on here, the slant, and they do that in nurseries to keep it from catching water.
Oh.
But in our dry climate, it doesn't catch the water. It catches, it goes away.
Right.
So now I'll have two really odd ones.
Well, that'd be cute. And this one here, this little fuzz ball here.
Yeah, and that's
this is the only one that you have that you can actually put your hand on.
Yeah,
you can pet.
And that's called Mammalia plumosa.
It's not indigenous to this area?
No, but it's a nice containerized one. It's one if you have small pets and children, they can come up and pet it and feel it, and it's all right. Nice little round balls, and it does bloom.
That's odd, because you could see there's like little fingers on the inside.
Yes.
It's protected by the very fine hairs, like.
Yeah, and sometimes the spines that we have on cactus are really modified leaves. And so some of those leaves have evolved to be very long or short or medium spines that poke. And then behind the spines are, on some cactus, and prickly pear are a good example, the little, what we call glochids. And those are spines also, but they're the ones that rub off and they get in your skin and you have to take tape to get them off. And then some spines have evolved to hair-like almost. And there are a few cactus that the spines are like hairs that hang down.
Where would this be indigenous to?
South America. All cactus except for one species, Rapularis, are from the Americas. This is a truly American plant. You want to grow a truly American plant with only one of its family found outside the American continents, cactus are the plants.
So we don't have to worry about when it says made in China. It's the pot that was made in China.
It was the pot that was made in China. Although some of these hybrid ones have come back from the Asian market. In fact, if you're looking for really strange colored ones of these colored cactus, they're from Thailand and Japan and Hong Kong. If you go on eBay and look for them, you can find them there.
Oh, you can actually trade, buy, sell.
Right.
Oh, okay.
You have to be careful though if you're buying from out of country, getting them back in this country, because
Quarantine?
if you don't, well, not so much quarantine, but being inspected, and sometimes they come through and sometimes they don't, and you really should have a permit, which is free of charge to get if you go through the government.
Now, going down I-15, going into California, there's that stop for fruit, vegetables. Would they stop these things too? They're usually
going out, but not coming in.
Okay.
So you should be fine. But cactus are fun. There are a lot of cold hardy ones. They grow from the Canadian border all the way down to Chile.